about to begin getting into the arrest of Marshall Young Pharaoh Daniels. I want to say good afternoon to everyone. Um, as you can see, we are not necessarily in our usual form, right? We're here, um, shall I say, by audio, right? Which I do from time to time. But I want to let you all know that the particular reason that we are via audio today is that I have actually been with family for the holidays and am in the midst of traveling now to get back to my original my point of origin, right? As opposed to where I've traveled to be with family. And I was going to, because my flight got delayed, by the way. And so initially I was going to reschedule this live yet again. I said, my flight got delayed. I'm just going to have to reschedule the live to Sunday, or excuse me, to Saturday. Um, but then I thought about it and I said, I know that people have been waiting on this. And so I am actually coming to you live while I wait to leave for the airport for my now delayed flight, right? That's how much you mean to me, as opposed to rescheduling this yet again. Alrighty. So, hello to everyone who is here. It's so good to see you. I'm going to get into the chat in a moment so I can say hello to all of you. Let me just get something up for us very quickly. All right, wonderful. Just so we have a little ambiance. Hello to Trip C. Thank you, Trip C, for your email. I got it. Thank you so much. So helpful. Because as you all know, I do have to prep for these lives. Hello to Health Light. Hello to Brett Edwards. Hello to Leia's commentary. Hello to Negus Roselle, a member of the EETV tribe, and always so supportive, so amazing, and just such a pleasure to have in the chat, right? So hello, how are you? Hello to Sheba Mooncat. Hello to Michelle Jordan. And hello to Theo. And also hello to Aaron Edwards. All righty. So, for those of you who do not know, young Pharaoh, whose apparent government, as some people would call it, name is Marshall Daniels, has been arrested on several different charges in Harris County, Texas. Alrighty, so if you're wondering, well, who is young Pharaoh, right? Let's say perhaps you're not familiar with who young Pharaoh is. Well, allow me to further expound for you very briefly on who young Pharaoh is. So, young Pharaoh is a social media personality, right? Let me go ahead and take this comment down. And he has, I guess you could say, risen to social media stardom via sharing some of his very controversial viewpoints on YouTube. Okay, so this is what young Pharaoh looks like. This is some of the controversial things that he has tweeted over the years. Okay, this is young Pharaoh here. Now, most recently, he has gotten into a lot of hubbub with the mother of his children, whom the internet refers to as Golden Beauty, but we all know that's not her actual name, right? They've had a lot of back and forth over custody of their children, over the ending of their romantic relationship, and also over what she calls young Pharaoh's inappropriate behavior regarding his polygamy, right? The fact that she says, right, allegedly, that really he's more so of a manipulator of women as opposed to a polygamist, right? So that's the background on what's been going on. Now, in the midst of all of this, he has been trying to assert dominance, it appears, right? And so he allegedly has been threatening quite a few people with, the use of a dangerous weapon. So he allegedly threatened Golden Beauty, saying that he would, shoot at her home. And then supposedly her home was shot at after his threats. She did a social media video in which she showed alleged bullet holes in her townhome or apartment, or however you'd like to refer to it, right? Then there was yet another person, an alleged former employee of young Pharaoh, who also alleged that young Pharaoh had threatened him with a weapon, had said that he would shoot him up, that he would shoot at his home. And both of these instances were reported to the police, along with other instances of young Pharaoh threatening physical violence against people in various areas of his life, right? So, it is important to know that threatening someone verbally is illegal. Now, a lot of people don't know that. To some of you, that may be something that, you're familiar with. You may say, oh, I knew that. I totally knew that, right? But understand that that is not everyone. Understand that many people do not know that it is illegal to verbally threaten someone. Now, of course, it is illegal to, to brandish a weapon, right? To show the person a weapon. Of course, it is illegal to hit the person or to come towards them in what the law would call a menacing way, right? As though you are going to hit them. Of course, those things are illegal. But many people are unaware that the threat in and of itself is illegal. Now, the reason that you don't always see people being prosecuted, right, for just the verbal threat is because very often the person who was threatened, they let it go. And those types of cases, unless the threat is written down somewhere, right, are very hard to prosecute without a witness to take the stand and say, yes, that person threatened me. And I felt that my life and my safety and my well being was in jeopardy. So understand that it is not because verbal threats are not illegal why you don't very often see people prosecuted for them. It is just very often that victims tend to just let things go when it is just a verbal threat and it doesn't have any action added to it. And with just the verbal threat, you really need the victim there to assert that, right, in a court of law for there to be enough evidence to prosecute someone. Okay. So, anyway, let's get into it now. Let's get into what young Pharaoh was charged with. Now, before we look at some of these documents, I want to let you know I am of the opinion, right, as a woman, as a person, and as a former DV prosecutor, that I am not comfortable with sharing the government names of victims. I personally do not do it. It's just something that I'm not comfortable with. So understand that you will not see each and every court document that exists in this case because many of the documents have the names so intricately strewn throughout them that it just would take too much time to redact all of the names. I have taken a little snippet just to show you an example of a complaint, to break it down and explain the legal portions of it, right? And I was able to redact the name from that little portion. So you will get the gist of it, but you will not see every document because I do not want to show the names of these victims. And that is just my personal opinion. Now, with that being said, you can go and check out many other amazing content creators who I believe have shared the names of everyone involved. If you're very interested in knowing what the names of everyone involved are, okay, so it's out there if you really want to know, but I choose not to do that. Wonderful. So let us get into it. I'm going to just share some screenshots that I have here. Oh, hold on. I have to actually pull up the screenshot. Okay. So let me pull them up. And now, of course, per our usual, after I share these screenshots with you of actual court documents, right, and we kind of walk through that and explain and talk about what these documents mean, we're then going to go into the penal code for the state of Texas and talk about the law here. Okay. And also, of course, see if we can finagle a number for potential prison time and potential punishment. Okay. All righty. Now share window. What should I share with you first? All right, let's go here first. Okay, so here you are looking at a screenshot of the case summary. Okay, you see the case number here at the top. You then see the file date. The file date means the date that this complaint or that this charging document was filed with the court. Okay. Um, Type of case, criminal case. We also see that it's active, right? That lets us know that it is an open case. Now, in the fourth line, you see the offense, right? So we know there are multiple offenses, right? So this case summary pertains in particular to the terroristic threat charge. Marshall Young Pharaoh Daniels is being charged with terroristic threat and assault. Okay, so he's being charged with both of those things. Right now, we're just looking at terroristic threat. There are about 7 counts thus far. There are 7 counts because there are multiple victims. Okay, got it? Got it. Okay. Misdemeanor information. What does that mean? Well, first, let's start over here. Last instrument filed. Last instrument filed means the most recent charging document filed by the government. A charging document is sometimes referred to as a complaint, and it is a document in which the prosecutor says, this person is the defendant. This is what we are accusing the person of. These are the people, right, or evidence that we have to back up our accusations. And this is the law that the defendant is violating. So that is what an instrument is. It's a charging document. So the last charging document filed was a misdemeanor information. An information is, again, a charging document. It is literally a document that is called an information. So this just means that the last charging document that was filed noted misdemeanor charges. No case disposition because it hasn't been disposed of yet. No case conclusion date, right? Bond made, meaning there was bond issued in this case, right? Bond amount was $100, okay? And that was set or is to be set on November 30th, 2021. That's the next date, okay? Basic race and sex, height and weight, eyes, hair color, skin color, build, all of these things are really basic, right? Then they have his date of birth. They have whether or not he's a citizen, which, by the way, citizenship and immigration status is very important when you're dealing with criminal law, and here is why. There are certain crimes that will deem you ineligible for residence in the United States if you were not born here. One more time. There are certain crimes that will make someone ineligible, meaning they cannot stay here if they were not born here. So immigration status is always noted in these criminal case dockets because it's very important. Address, right? And then they get into who the presiding judge is. We see the judge's name, we see Judge Erica Hughes, and we see that this is a criminal case which will be heard in criminal court. Now, if you are a law nerd like me, you may be thinking to yourself, I'd like to know a bit about Judge Erica Hughes. Well. I have a treat for you. We're going to learn a bit about Judge Erica Hughes. Shall we? Let's do this together. So let's go to share screen. Let's go to my Chrome tab here. Okay, so we are on the Instagram page of Judge Erica Hughes. This is the judge who will supposedly be presiding over the case for Marshall Daniels. Okay. All right, so here we are now. She describes herself as a political candidate, right? And she's compassionate about justice. Awesome. She looks very smartly dressed and very well put together. So that's always a good thing. Okay, here we have a picture of her giving a speech. Let's see where. We have to log in for that. That's okay. She appears to be a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We see her and some sorors here. We see her visiting a Veteran Memorial Wall for Veterans Day. So she seems to be very, very active in the community, which is a good thing. We see her here with some of her colleagues. Okay, here with some more of her colleagues. Notice that her page seems to portray that she is very active, not just in the community at large, right? Because we see her at Veterans Memorial Wall and things like that. But she seems to be very active in the African American community as well, which I think could play into this case Because if in fact she does stay with young Pharaoh's case and she presides over his case, she may have knowledge of who young Pharaoh is online. She may be aware of his online presence because she seems to be very, very active in, like I just said, the African American community. Interesting. Okay, we see her at the Veterans Treatment Court program. Again, she seems really active in her community, which is a good thing. Okay, so we've gotten a little gist of who Judge Erica Hughes is. Tell me that that was not interesting and enlightening. I mean, for me, it was quite riveting to put a face to this judge. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting case to follow. So let me hop into the chat. Hello to Don Williams Jr. Hello to Tisha Stewart. Hello, CJ. We got to put this comment up here. So CJ says, you were right. Justice was served in the Ahmaud Arbery case. I didn't think it was going to happen, but you were correct. Well, CJ, thank you for the compliment. And, when you're trying to interpret these cases, really the only thing you can do, which is, what I do, is look at the law. Look at the law, try to interpret the law, and take the facts of the case and say to yourself, well, how do these flax, how do these facts apply to the law at hand? And so, just from looking at what had happened in that case factually, and then looking at the law, we could see, right? When we discussed it, we could see that it didn't look like this argument about citizens' arrest was actually going to stand, right? So, thank you for the compliment, CJ. Over on this channel, we like to review the law and learn about it, and take that journey together. So it is so edifying for you to say that, you received a sound interpretation here. But of course, cases are always unpredictable, right? Okay, let's hop back into young Pharaoh, shall we? I have some more screenshots that I'd like to share with you. Let's go ahead and go full screen. All right. Share, we'll go window. All right. So I already showed you that one. Let me show you this very quickly. Okay. So this is a little snippet of what occurred on the 24th. Okay. So on the 24th, his case was heard, again, misdemeanor, and it was a bail hearing. And we do know that bond was then set. Okay. All right. Let's go to my next little snippet for you. Share screen. All right. Here we go. So now we're going to have a moment where we look at the portion, or rather a portion of a charging document. So what you're looking at here is a portion of an information or a charging document, right? And we are going to discuss what these documents mean, how you can interpret them, and how you can understand them, okay? So, and as you can see, I went onto Adobe and redacted the name of the victim there. As I've said, I'm extremely sensitive about sharing names of victims. And while we're on the topic, I would like to say that my heart goes out to the victims in these cases. Of course, Marshall Young Pharaoh Daniels is innocent until proven guilty, right? Of course. However, I want to give my sympathies to the victims because regardless of whether or not he is found innocent or guilty, these victims obviously felt victimized, right? And that is why these actions have been started against him in criminal court. Okay. All righty. Don Williams said, this channel brings me back to my college days majoring in criminal justice. Well, thank you, Don Williams. I am very, very ecstatic to hear that. I love teaching because I love learning. Michelle Jordan, not sure if I shouted you out yet, but Michelle Jordan says, I love absorbing the knowledge from this channel and the professionalism. Absolutely superb. Thank you, Michelle Jordan, for being here. As I just said to Don Williams, I'm a legal nerd, and this is a pleasure and an honor for me. And I hope that you feel the same. All righty. So now back to this charging document. So you see the state of Texas versus Marshall Jeannie Daniels. So that is allegedly young Pharaoh's full government name, right? Okay. We see his address. We see some different identifying numbers here. In every jurisdiction, the identifying numbers are going to be called something different, right? So we see here in Texas, they say SPN, right? DA log number just means the number that the district attorney has logged this case with. So that's their own personal number within their office. That's a DA log number. CJIS tracking number means within their system, right, in the state of Texas, this is the number that you can find this case with. And they have the agency, they have another type of identifying number, and then they have the arrest date. Understand that everything you're looking at here in this top portion of the document is all par the course for an arrest. If you are ever wondering if an arrest document is false, if it is falsified, right? These are the types of things you're looking for. If you don't see some sort of district attorney tracking number or log number, if you don't see some sort of noting of which agency, you don't see an arrest date, you don't see the date of birth for the defendant, things like that, that's your first hint that, okay, this documentation may not be correct. Okay. Another identifying number, NCIC code, and then they have the particular charge that this document is referring to, right? So they have terroristic threat as the charge that they are referring to in this below information that we're going to get to. And they have cause number, which is another way of saying case number, right? And then they discuss the court ordered bail and the first setting date, which is, I should say, the first date that this case will actually be heard post bail and post arrest and all those things. And that is November 30th, 2021. Okay. CJ says, I would have bet you like $100 that Ahmaud Arbery's killers would have been acquitted. Well, maybe we should have, because I would have $100 now. All right, so here we go. In the name and by authority of the state of Texas, teaching moment. Every charging document, every document that someone is arrested based upon has to have that sort of phrase. It has to say by the people of the state of New York, or by the persons and authority of the state of Connecticut, or in the name and by the authority of the state of Texas. It has to say this document is being created with the authority vested in the state, the government of that state, and the people of that state. Seems like a basic, kind of, whatever, skip over it type of line, but it's not. Okay. Before me, the undersigned assistant district attorney of Harris County, Texas. This day appeared the undersigned affiant, who under oath says that he has good reason to believe, and does believe, that in Harris County, Texas, Marshall Jeannie Daniels hereafter styled the defendant, heretofore on or about November 19th, 2021, did then and there unlawfully threaten to commit an offense involving violence, namely aggravated assault upon blank, I redacted the person's name, hereinafter called the complainant, with the intent to place the complainant in fear of imminent serious bodily injury. Wow. So a lot of legalese, right? Let's break that down. So when you see before me, you already know that this charging document is being written in first person. So you know that eventually you're going to find out, well, who is the person that's writing this before who? Okay. So you see before me, the undersigned assistant district attorney of Harris County. So this person, this victim, right, this alleged victim, appeared before an ADA or an assistant district attorney, right? So an ADA in Harris County, meaning this ADA met with this person, okay? The ADA then goes on to say, I saw this person on this very day. This person appeared before me. This person was under oath, meaning under penalty of perjury. So this person knows that if they told this ADA anything that isn't true, they can be prosecuted for it. They can be sent to jail for it. All right. That he has good reason to believe. Okay. So this person says, listen, I believe with good reason that what I am telling you, young Pharaoh did to me is really what happened, allegedly. And then this person then tells this ADA that young Pharaoh allegedly tried to commit violence against them, right? And that young Pharaoh placed them in fear of serious bodily injury. So this person met with an ADA and described to an ADA a situation that happened between them and young Pharaoh, in which it appeared that they could have been seriously harmed. And also, young Pharaoh expressed either by word or by action that he wanted to seriously harm this person. That is what this first paragraph is saying. This first paragraph is saying an alleged victim of young Pharaoh appeared before an ADA and gave the ADA a rendition of facts, right? A version of events in which they felt physically threatened by young Pharaoh and in which he allegedly expressed that he wanted to seriously harm them. Now, second paragraph. Before the commission of the offense alleged above on July 21st, 2014, in cause number blank in the county court of Erie County, New York, the defendant was convicted of the felony offense of criminal possession of a loaded firearm. Pause. Now, remember we talked about the fact that young Pharaoh has been allegedly threatening people with what? A firearm. There's been, the mother of his children. There's been former employees. There's been other associates who have come online alleging that young Pharaoh has been threatening them with a firearm. Now, you may wonder, well, how is that relevant to what we're reading here? Well, here's how. Here's how. It looks as though some of those threats that have been alleged online are the source of the current criminal prosecution. So it looks as though these victims who spoke to the ADAs, and in particular this victim whose name I've redacted, may have mentioned that young Pharaoh supposedly threatened them with a weapon. Hence why the ADA is putting in this charging document, attention, hey, Judge Hughes, this defendant has already been charged with possession of a firearm before. Now, we discuss on this channel a lot that just because someone has done something in the past does not mean it can be used to prove that they have done, or rather that they have committed another crime in the future, right? We discussed that propensity evidence is not admissible, but a pattern is admissible, and past convictions which contribute to a pattern is admissible. So when you hear multiple victims, you hear multiple people saying, young Pharaoh threatened me with a gun, young Pharaoh threatened me with a gun, and then you have a past gun conviction, you have a pattern. So here, this ADA is alerting the court to a potential pattern. This ADA is saying, hey, Judge Hughes, hey, Harris County Courthouse, we have a potential pattern here. I have an alleged victim saying that they were threatened with a gun, and I now have a defendant who has gun charges, right? Previous gun conviction. Okay. Very important to keep in mind. And also, quite frankly, not very good for young Pharaoh. Okay. And that is just the truth of it. I'm going to get back into the chat for a moment. Hello. Good afternoon to Nkrumah Toure. Good afternoon to Rose EZ. And CJ, this is why they hate Kevin Samuels? Huh? CJ, what do you mean? Can you clarify for us what is why they hate Kevin Samuels? What's going on here? Okay. So before we dig into the law behind these charges, right, and we see what the law is for these accusations in the state of Texas, I'm going to give everyone the opportunity to ask me any questions that you have thus far. Okay, so I'm going to give you a moment to allow you to get your thoughts together And drop in the chat any questions that you have thus far. Let's see. Okay, so I see CJ explained himself. So he said he was getting rich and they hate to see young Black men get rich. So we have to assume you're talking about young Pharaoh, and you're saying young Pharaoh was getting rich and they hate to see young Black men get rich. Who is they? Because here's the thing. Remember, I want to challenge all of my viewership, right? To think critically, but most importantly, to think logically. Remember, critical thinking and logical thinking, they go hand in hand, right? So remove your feelings from this. Logically, why would all of these different people have the exact same version of events regarding young Pharaoh threatening them if it were not rooted in truth? That's the first thing I want you to ask yourself, CJ. And the second thing I want you to ask yourself, CJ, is what about the videos and the post of young Pharaoh himself threatening people online? And do you think that someone should be able to threaten people with physical violence and just get a bly because they're a young man of color getting rich? You let me know. And again, these are just questions, right? Just things for you to think about. Hello to Nicole Reloaded. Thank you very much for the compliment. All right, Nicole Reloaded has a question. She says, how can someone, so how can someone be charged for threatening people online? So, Nicole Reloaded, all of the things that pardon me, I forgot to get my water. So, I'm going to be struggling through this. So all of the things that we love about technology are also all of the things that make technology a dangerous thing. So, just as threatening someone in person can be fearful, it is also just as fearful to threaten someone online. Sending someone a DM that says, I'm going to shoot up your house is just as scary as knocking on their door and saying, I'll be back tomorrow to shoot up your house. They are both the same type of physical, emotional, and psychological implication. And now, because of technology, we can trace things like IP addresses. We can trace things like account activity. And so, yes, there are ways to prove that a particular person threatened you online. So let's say, for example, someone threatens uh, Billy Bob via Instagram. They sent him a threatening DM. Well, he takes a screenshot of that account. He takes a screenshot of those DMs and he goes to the authorities. The authorities then take a look at the history of that account. The authorities can also contact Instagram. Aha, Nicole, you have just won the prize for this live because you led me to a good point that I wanted to share with you all. Nothing is private online. So, again, back to my original example. When Billy Bob goes to the authorities and he shows them these Instagram screenshots, the authorities contact Instagram and they say, hey, listen, criminal investigation. I know this account is supposed to be partially private or it's listed as private or whatever, but unlock it. They also say to Instagram, criminal investigation, send us the IP addresses logging into this account. They also say to Instagram, criminal investigation, send us the profile information and contact information connected to this account. And all of those things are used to validify and solidify that the person who Billy Bob says was threatening him in those DMs is that actual person. All right. Let me know if you have any. CJ says, sorry if you guys don't understand, Miss Lloyd. Listen, CJ, we can agree to disagree, right? But the man actually threatened people out of his mouth himself online, allegedly. So that kind of hurts your argument, CJ. Okay. And Kruma Toure says, that's correct. You're the only channel holder that has pronounced my name right the first time. Well, thank you. I love languages and accents. And so I try to do them justice. All right. I see Nicole Reloaded mentions here young Pharaoh was supposed to sue YouTube. I wonder how that went. Okay. Rose EZ Rose EZ made an interesting comment. She said, unfortunately, many of the YouTube crowd tend to be intellectually challenged. Hello to Lachey Inspires. Hello to Brenda W. Brenda W says he has made threats against children as well. Oh, wow. If that's true, that is, I mean, wow, that's next level concerning. Hello to Blooming Lotus. Blooming Lotus says, young Pharaoh put bounties on the heads of others as well. Evidence of this on video. Right. So that is what I'm saying to CJ. I'm saying, CJ, listen, we've seen videos, and I'm going to say allegedly, where young Pharaoh is threatening to harm people, like out of his mouth, allegedly. Okay. Okay, CJ. CJ says, wow, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Listen, it's okay. This is just open discourse, right? It's time for all of us to just have these conversations openly and agree to disagree and share our thoughts and learn together. All right, Don Williams. Yes, the threat is still the same, and the net is easier because it leaves a trail. Ding, 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 ding. Correct. A threat is a threat is a threat is a threat. Here's my Dr. Seuss moment. It doesn't matter if it's on a boat. It doesn't matter if it's crossing a moat. It doesn't matter if it's online. It doesn't matter if it was in real time. Ooh, wow. I need to write a book. A threat is a threat. Okay. All right. Oh, interesting question. So, could it be that young Pharaoh has gone mad? So, i.e., could it be that he's having some sort of mental health issue? Absolutely. It could absolutely be that young Pharaoh is having some sort of mental health, challenge at this time. But the problem with that is it doesn't mean that other people should be left unprotected. So let's say, yes, young Pharaoh is having some sort of mental health issue. Let's say that hypothetically. The people who he's threatening, they're still who he's allegedly threatening. They're still feeling victimized. They're still feeling afraid. So regardless of his mental health status, those people still need to be protected by, law enforcement. Don Williams and CJ are having a bit of a discourse. Okay. Nicole Reloaded would like to know, will this apply if the crime takes place on a live stream? Of course it does. And a crime taking place on a live stream is a record of that crime. It's a video that could be used in prosecution. Okay. Now, Red 404, hello, how are you? I think you're new here, so hello to the newbie. Red 404 says, I remember when Obama was president, racists would threaten him all the time, but I don't recall any arrest. Remember that just because you did not see it does not mean it did not occur. There were many, many people who were investigated by the FBI, and some of them penalized criminally for threats made against the Obama family. So there were FBI investigations for those threats. Now, of course, not everyone was penalized, but there were some people that were penalized for those threats, and the FBI did investigate those people. And then, also remember, Barack Obama was president at the time. So if some of these people were not prosecuted, you better believe that that was by his choice. He had, I'm sure, a lot of very important things to do, and he may have decided that he did not care about these random trolls online. CJ says, could I get you to call into Kevin Samuel's show to debate him, please? LOL. I wouldn't waste my time, darling, but that is funny. So the things he said that he would do to someone's child, allegedly, young Pharaoh, right, was vile. Yet he wants to open a daycare. Well, I got to tell you, this sounds a lot like someone else online. I won't say the name because I'm sure you all know already. Sheba Mooncat says, please smash the like button. Yes, yes, and yes. Please smash that like button. Please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. You might be asking yourself, why should I subscribe? I got two reasons for you. One, it's free. And two, you get awesome information like this. Okay. Nicole Reloaded wants me to write a book. I may just do that. I may just do that. Hello to Jay Christopher. Hello to Aaron Edwards, although I think I may have said hello to you already. Hello to New Marie, another new face. How are you, gorgeous? Hello to B Buccaneer. Alrighty, so let's get into the law now. I don't see any other questions, so we're going to get into the law. Let's see. You guys know I always have to copy and paste my links so that I can share them with you. Da, da, da. All right, let's remove that. And now we go share screen. Oh, so B Buccaneer says there were signs of serious mental health issues from the very beginning. Interesting. I don't know. I'm not aware of that, but maybe, maybe. Okay, everyone. So we are about to take a look at the actual Texas statutes that are applicable in this case. Now, as you always know, I like to show you where you can go to get the information yourself. I want to stress to you, if you're hearing my voice right now, I want to stress to you that you are competent and intelligent, and you do not need some blog or vlog or anything else to tell you the law, right? You're more than capable of finding it and reading it, right? And grasping it on your own. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, this channel is here to show you where to find it and to kind of guide you along the way of understanding it, right? To get you there, to empower you. Hence the name of the channel. Okay. So here we are. So I'm going to copy and paste the actual link. We're here on statutes.capitol.texas.gov. That is the website for how you pull up the Texas statutes. All right, there's the link. Let me take down this comment so that we can see it. All right. Now here we are. Now this is the entire state of Texas penal code. So we know that assault is one of the charges. So we are here in the criminal section, right? We're going to go to offenses against the person. As we learned in our last stream when we were talking about Ahmaud Arbery, right? Offenses against the person covers things such as assault. So we're going to click that. Okay, did it come up? Hold on. There we go. All right, and we see some of the different titles here. We see assaultive offenses. That's what we need. Click that. All right, and so we see a bunch of different types of assault here. We see assault, blank assault, aggravated, abandoning. We see terroristic threat, which is one of the ones we're going to get to soon. And then we see some things that involve minors. Okay, so let's click assault because we know we have a regular assault allegation here, right? Okay. So here we are, penal code title. Oh, wait, you can't see that. One moment. It just hit me that when I switch to the new tab, y'all can't see that. Let's see. Ah, there we go. There we go. We are in the money now. Now you can see it. Perfect. Hello to Nappy Yankee. Okay, so Title 5, Offenses Against the Person, Chapter 22, Assaultive Offenses. So this is one of the charges that young Pharaoh is facing. It is assault, okay? So assault, a person commits an offense of assault if the person intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly causes bodily injury to another, right? Including the person's spouse. If the person intentionally or knowingly threatens another with imminent bodily injury, including the person's spouse, or intentionally or knowingly causes physical contact with another when the person knows or should have reasonably known, right? Reason to believe that the other will regard the contact as offensive or provocative. So let's stop here for a moment. So, from what we understand, there were threats that were made, right? Allegedly. So we know that this second section here is a section that will probably apply. Intentionally or knowingly threatens another with bodily injury. That just means that allegedly, young Pharaoh threatened to physically harm this victim. That's all it means. Now, in some states, this threat would not be referred to as assault, right? In some states, they have a separate law for threatening someone, and then a separate law for actually hurting the person. But here in the state of Texas, they've combined that all into assault. So young Pharaoh is being accused of assaulting this victim because he allegedly threatened her with physical harm. Now we get into the type of offense. So it's a class A misdemeanor. Okay. And it becomes a felony if we have some of these aggravating factors here. Okay. So we know that if the person is a public servant, then it goes from misdemeanor to felony. We also know that if the person has a certain relationship with the defendant, it goes from misdemeanor to felony, right? So this assault, this class A misdemeanor, can become a felony of the third degree if it is committed against a public servant or if there's a certain familial relationship. Now, that piques your interest, doesn't it? It should, because you know that one of the alleged victims is the mother of young Pharaoh's children. So now we have to ask ourselves, well, what type of family relationship? Okay, so let's see. I'm going to click each of them. You know that you're not going to be able to see them at the moment because I'm sharing that tab, right? But you know I am going to share with you, right? I'm going to bring you on over to the family code, which will show, where did it go? I see. Dating, violence, family. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now I am going to share that tab with you. Before I do, as Nappy Yankee says, like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. All right? And hey, even if you want to dislike, I'm totally cool with that because Miss Algorithm don't care. Engagement is engagement. Okay. All right, so stop screen so I can share with you what familial relationships take this misdemeanor into felony land, because we know that one of the alleged victims is young Pharaoh's children's mother. All right. Share screen. We are here. Is it this one? Good question. I think it's this one. Yes. Okay. Family code. So these are the types of relationships that make the misdemeanor assault become felony assault. So first, dating violence. So if the defendant commits assault against someone that they are dating, meaning they have some sort of dating relationship or they are married. So that's the first way it can become a felony. Second way, if the defendant assaults someone that they are family with, meaning they have some familial relationship, some type of consanguinity or affinity. Okay. It also covers individuals who are former spouses, individuals who are parents of the same child, and foster children and foster parents. So, what are we hearing here, everyone? What we are hearing is that the misdemeanor assault that was initially noted could be, right, if it isn't already, upgraded to a felony. Now, I do not know for sure if it has been upgraded to a felony. I've heard whispers of it online. I do not know that for sure, right? But we do know that the law is there to back up the elevation of the assault to a felony. It could happen. That's what we do know. Okay. Does anyone have questions about elevating a misdemeanor to a felony and about the Texas Penal Code for assault before we look at the Texas Penal Code for terroristic threat? Going once, going twice. While I wait, I'd like to note that this live has been very, very quiet, has it not? You have not heard our mascot, right? The reason that you have not heard him is because he is currently taking the biggest nap on this very, very fluffy rug. And he really has zero concern about what I'm doing. And I'm not saying his name, because if I say his name, he's going to wake up. But everyone knows, my little pup, he's our mascot. And no noise from him today because the nap is too real. So I don't see any questions about this family code. So we're going to move on to terroristic threat. Okay. All right. Let me stop screen here. Let's get back into the law. Okay. So I'm going to go back to that original Texas Penal Code. I'm going to share my screen again. Yeah, he'll be occupied for a while for sure. Yeah, there's going to be no pup barking for quite some time. All right, share screen, Chrome tab. All righty, so now we know that young Pharaoh is also being accused of terroristic threat. Okay, so section 22.07 here. Let's click that. You guys know I have to share my screen again to show you that tab, which is fine. It keeps everything more streamlined when I only share certain tabs. When we do this thing where I'm just sharing the whole screen, it just gets crazy. Perfect. Okay, so here we are. We are here looking at terroristic threat. Okay, let me go ahead and take this comment down. Nicole says she wished her dogs would take a nap. Listen, honey, mine is exhausted. It's been the holidays and he's been running around all over with family members, and then the kids were playing with him, and he's exhausted. Not to mention that I'm almost certain that the older folks have been giving him table food, and that's probably also why he's exhausted. He probably is pretty sleepy from all that food. Okay, so terroristic threat. So a person commits an offense if he threatens to commit any offense involving violence to any person or property with the intent to. Okay, so let's break down the first part. Young Pharaoh is guilty of terroristic threat if he threatens violence against any person's actual physical being, right, or their property with the intent to cause a reaction by an official, place a person in fear of imminent serious bodily injury, prevent or interrupt the occupation or use of a certain space, cause impairment or interruption of public communications, place the public or a group in fear, influence the conduct or activities of a branch or agency of government, right? So these are the 6 things that would compound to, I guess you could say, create, right? Guilt on the part of young Pharaoh. So, based upon what we know, I would say what most applies is the imminent serious bodily injury, that portion here, right? So, allegedly, to be guilty of this statute, young Pharaoh would have to threaten physical violence against a person or their property for the purpose of putting them in fear that he would actually do such. Okay? So that is the breakdown for terroristic threat. Now, terroristic threat is a Class B misdemeanor. Okay? Of course, under A2, which is what we just discussed, except that it is a Class A misdemeanor if it is committed against a member of the person's family. Remember what we discussed. Golden Beauty would be considered family under the Texas Code. So usually this is a Class B misdemeanor, but it can be elevated to Class A in regards to Golden Beauty, because it can be elevated to a Class A misdemeanor if it is committed against a family member or a public servant. Okay? Now, they go on to discuss that for Class A misdemeanors, the person can also be attributed with a pecuniary loss of $1,500 or more. And of course, the person can potentially face jail time. Okay. They then also go on to explain that A4, 5, and 6 can actually become felonies. Okay. All righty. So that is the law here, everyone. All right. Hello to Diva Divine Light. Thank you for always having my back. You know, I always have yours. I love you very much. Happy holidays to you and your beautiful family. Okay. Nicole Reloaded says a lot of this activity unfortunately takes place on YouTube. Thank you for showing us how to protect ourselves. Always, Nicole. Always, this channel is like a little family, so we always are teaching each other and learning together. That's the whole purpose. So listen, everybody, it has been only 56 minutes. Okay, I thought it has been an hour because I always have about an hour. So you actually have a few minutes left, everyone. Do we have any questions, any thoughts, anything that you'd like to discuss with me or make me aware of in regards to this case? If you do, speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay. Blooming Lotus threatening a lawyer? Not sure what that's in regards to. Okay. All right, everyone. So you have a few more minutes. Questions, thoughts, concerns. By the way, hello to my replay fam. If you're catching this on the replay, hello, how are you? What do you think? Do you think that young Pharaoh will be acquitted of these charges? Or do you think if these charges move forward, he may really have a problem on his hands and he may be found guilty? What do you think could happen? And do you have any questions? If you do, drop them in the comment section. All right. And I will definitely give you a spiffy, quick response. Blooming Lotus says he threatened his lawyer. Oh, interesting. Yeah, not a good idea, people. If he did allegedly threaten his lawyer, that is not a good idea. Okay. And you're welcome very much for my legal analysis in these matters. Whatever you requested is always available. Of course, I'm juggling family, especially because it's holiday season, right? And my practice and things like that. But I always make time for you all. Okay. Asia Henry. Hello, Asia. If his SM is used as evidence, his SM. Am I missing something, everyone? What is SM? What am I missing? SM. Oh, social media. Oh, wow, wow, wow. I just had a older woman living in a young woman's body moment. Okay. If his social media is used as evidence, he's going to jail or a mental health facility, says Asia Henry. Well, allegedly, he has verbally threatened people via video on his social media. So, yes, the social media doesn't help him. Doesn't help him at all. Everyone's laughing at me now. I so had a senior moment. I had a Golden Girls moment like, SM. SM. But then again, you all know I'm not really big on social media. I love YouTube, but other than YouTube, it's just not my thing. All righty, everyone. So I am going to go ahead and head on out. I don't see any other questions. As I round this up, here's a question. Nappy Yankee, what is the chance of Golden Beauty getting called in? I believe they're both in collusion in this drama. Interesting. Well, if Golden Beauty is one of the victims, and by the way, to our knowledge, Golden Beauty is one of the victims, then she is probably already cooperating with the authorities. And in that instance, it definitely would not be in her best interest to be colluding with young Pharaoh in any way, allegedly, right? Because she's trying to hold him accountable for what he supposedly did to her. Diva Divine Light says, if you like the content, please hit Miss Esquire's Cash App, $ Felicia P. I will leave that up there. If you feel called to send me something, you most certainly can. I appreciate all of you being here, right? So that is, of course, up to you and of your own volition. So listen, thank you for being here for another installment of Empowered Esquire TV. where we empower you with legal knowledge. I hope you feel powerful and amazing because you are. In this world where so many people are going to tell you that you are not enough, allow me to tell you that you are enough. You don't have to go above and beyond and change your nature and be someone else. You, in your form as you are, is enough. Thank you for being here. And if you're catching me on the replay, that message was for you too. And as Diva Divine Light said, if you've enjoyed the content, the Cash App is available to you. And if you're not in the financial place to give anything, that's okay too. All right. Love you all. See you later.